Welcome to StormWatch by GreyNoise Intelligence. Each week, we drop the latest info on what's happening at GreyNoise and Census, take a look at a roundup of important and timely cybersecurity topics, and toss out some expert opinions, plus the occasional conspiracy theory. I'm Bob Brutus, and with me are my co-host, Kimber. Good morning, Kimber. Oh, no.
Kimber, you're muted.
You're muted.
Oh my god! I hate the future. I hate it.
Yeah, the future's terrible. People don't know how close we came to losing Kimber this morning too. So that was
It was bad. It was chaos, but we're here. It's happening.
Kimber, you had a suggestion for a great question today, given some of the developments that happened in the past couple of days. So, and since fantasy football season is over, we can switch to a different one, which is, what is your fantasy location pick for DEF CON?
I thought about this long and hard since I brought up the question yesterday, and I have to admit, I love Vegas. I'm a total Vegas person. I want to see, inspired by that, I want to see the version of DEF CON that combines with Burning Man. So take DEF CON, but put it in the Black Rock Desert.
I literally had the same thought.
Oh gosh, no. Sure he did.
It just needs to be self-contained, like almost a biodome desert situation, but at least like where everything's together, not like miles and miles apart.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, all right, we're moving on from the copycat. Emily, good morning to you as well.
Hey, good morning.
Sam, what is your fantasy location pick for DEF CON?
Like, I kind of feel like if you move it, it's maybe not DEF CON anymore.
Yeah.
Like, Vegas is sort of a key piece of what makes it what it is, for better or for worse. I find Vegas like way too stimulating. Like, it's just too much all the time. Okay. But I do kind of feel like that's sort of that's a part of it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, the desert is cool. I like the desert. Mm-hmm. So maybe some other location in the desert, but yeah.
Okay. Glenn, you are back, as we can all see. I hope your secret mission was a success.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was a good secret mission success.
Oh, okay, cool. So for you, like, how many owls do you have to see before you get worried?
I guess more than one at a time. What? Okay. I don't ever know what's happening.
I feel like this is a Harry Potter reference.
You will have to ask my daughter what this question is all about, because she is now feeding me questions for Glenn.
One owl is amazing. Like, one owl is beautiful and cool and kind of rare.
Two owls would terrify you.
Two owls, I'd be like, 3 would terrify me.
Yeah.
Why would 3 owls terrify you?
Because why? I've never known. Are owls social? Like, I've never seen more than one owl in a place.
Like, 2 owls are just friends, but 3 owls is a pack.
Yeah, 3's a crowd.
Yeah, and if there's 3, there's probably more.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do if a bunch of owls come at me.
Man, I really need to know where these questions are coming
from. I mean, do you know of some record of owls attacking humans that I don't, Glenn? I don't understand.
No, that's exactly why a very low number is the concerning number.
Apparently 3 owls is a portent, according to Todd. Thank you, Todd.
Todd would know that, and also TIL.
There you go.
You never know what you get on StormWatch. And neither do we.
Making all this, actually, so I will do mine first before I ask Ashley. I think, given that there are some that are very large and underneath, like if you go into the underground area, that should be in a missile silo, an abandoned missile silo, DEF CON. It should be in an abandoned missile
too silo. Bad air circulation for me. That's like it smells. I'm sorry.
Yeah, casinos are bad enough.
Like DEF CON doesn't smell bad on its own. Like,
no, I'm saying it's just gonna get worse.
It'll get worse. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If you don't have good airflow for DEF CON, I mean, that's the benefit of being in the desert, is it's wide open.
Oh, I probably can also say hello to Benjamin, because I now know Benjamin's long.
Benjamin, that was true.
And making all this possible, and the only reason it goes anywhere as smoothly as it does, and today we're pushing it, is our Overwatch Ashley. Good morning, Ashley. And do you have a fantasy location pick for DEF CON? Okay, Vegas gamblers, all you Vegas gamblers.
She clearly loves to gamble, because she returns to this job every single day and every week.
Yes, she does. This is great.
I'm just glad that so many of us love Vegas. Just
It would be really boring without Vegas, I'm not gonna lie. Do we want to? So, I mean, I know like we just got to touch on the conspiracy theory early though.
Yeah, just okay. Do a quick thing because like
the quick thing is maybe like a sudden change in venue from Caesars and not MGM. So like, what happened after last year's conference, even though it was much later?
Conspiracy. Hackers in the Caesars mainframe.
But if that's the reason, I doubt it is. If that's the reason though, this is not the way to not piss off a bunch of hackers. So like, anyway.
Is anybody hacking at DEF CON? Have you ever seen anybody hacking?
No, absolutely not. Only hacking livers.
One thing I will say about this conspiracy theory is, and I have not been in any community chats where I've seen people doing like speculation about this because I haven't been able to do that for various reasons. But I have seen people comment about like there are people getting very upset about the fact that it's not where it's supposed to be at this time, like violently threatening.
It seems to be evenly split in my groups. Like half the people are like, yay, like not good things to say about Caesars and some of the things that have the overhead that's been there, which whatever.
But there are people on LinkedIn, a supposedly professional network, that
LinkedIn's Twitter.
It's
turned crossed into like Facebook
or LinkedIn's old Twitter.
Okay,
right, Twitter OG now.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. All right. So if you're joining us live, and if a bunch of you seem to be, which is great, as usual, do not hesitate to heckle. We love heckling. Or you all provide some incredible insights, like Todd just did. Sometimes on security, even, so that's even better. And make sure to just say hello and just give us a bunch of good things. Now, however, as I say that, and I got to push this live, and I totally forgot to put the slides back to where they're supposed to go. So that's great. Today's going great, guys. Today's going great. This is amazing, by the way. You're going to see this. This is amazing. We have a new centralized domain, stormwatch.ing. Yes, stormwatching is a thing. It'll actually route you right over to our GreyNoise site. And we don't just have that though. But when you do go there and when you watch us online and you watch us afterline and whatever, mash the like and subscribe buttons, leave comment, share. That's what we're supposed to say as podcast. So I'm just saying it. Do that though, because it does help.
I have to share one quick thing. So when the ing domain went up last fall and Bob was on it, got the Stormwatching link. I was going to have this great trick or prank for Emily and went for thrunt.ing, but
oh god,
I did not get it because I don't know how all that works, but someone got it before me, even though I pre-regged whatever, and I was gonna make it redirect to her LinkedIn or something. But
man, that would have
been amazing. I would have been impressed, disturbed but impressed.
Glenn also tried to get a naughty domain, and thankfully he on that one too.
Sir.
Bob, what? You didn't try to register any stupid domains?
No, I did not. No.
That's very irresponsible. You're supposed to squat on those.
Because somehow Bob was on the pre-alert or whatever of like, this is happening.
Yeah, this was my sole focus in life, is to get Stormwatching, and it happened. So I'm happy right now. Well, I'm as happy as I get right now. This is, first of all, the design team, y'all, like, big hugs as usual, and we are having an in-person, like, all Grey Hands event this year, so you'll get hugs in person for this as well, on many other things. The site is just gorgeous. They have done a fantastic job. There's apparently an Easter egg right now that if you go there, you're going to see something now that we're live. I haven't gone there. If anyone on here can go, that'd be great to see what's cool. There's also an Easter egg on the site all the time that you might have to move your mouse around to find, which we won't ruin any more than that.
It's so good. It's so cool.
And you have Emily went really nuts about this particular one. Do you want to tell them where to go so that everyone else can just do it?
No, I want people to figure it out.
Okay, but if you figure it out, you're going to do what Emily does and not work all day and just keep doing it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a good thing.
Therapeutic.
So you can find out more about us than you ever wanted to know. You can get all the platforms that we're on, all the episodes, all the resources from all the episodes. Amazing job. We finally have a home, which is why we all look a bit more professional today, because like it's all coming together. It's all real. It's beautiful. So enough navel gaze.
Seems like this isn't going away. So here we are.
Yeah. We
Also,
will be
really
podcasting.
cool little thing that happens on this website when we're live. It has a little live indicator.
Oh, that's what that is? Oh, cool.
Really fancy.
Oh man. They always do the best of stuff. And actually the little hack, if you scroll around and you'll see what it does, was a suggestion by Glenn that they implemented in like seconds. I don't know how they do this work so fast, but they're just incredible. Yeah. All right, enough of that. So we give ourselves a bunch of high fives. We're gonna give somebody else a high five. This would normally be the good news section. We're kind of changing things up. I got to give it to these folks I want to hug too. Don't normally want to hug Cloudflare people, but in this case I do. If people didn't notice the story the other day, they had a breach back in November of last year, and they did a lot to uncover it, see what was going on, and to remediate from it. And not only did they do that though, but this is literally one of the best postmortems, incident, breach review write-ups I think I've ever seen. And I've been doing this a really, really long time. Just to get through some of the details before we open it up for discussion. Here's the gist of everything. From the 14th to the 17th, a threat actor did reconnaissance against Cloudflare, then accessed Cloudflare's internal wiki, which uses Confluence, and bug database, which is Jira. They're kind of in Atlassian shop altogether, as you'll see. In November 20th, 21st, Cloudflare saw additional access, indicating they may have come back to test access to ensure they had connectivity. On the 22nd, the actor established persistent access to Jira Script Runner. That's a particular host running that. That let them gain access to Bitbucket, and they tried unsuccessfully to access a console server that had access to a Sao Paulo data center that was not yet put into production. On the 24th, all threat actor access and connections were terminated, and CrowdStrike has confirmed that the last evidence of threat activity was at a particular time on the 24th. So the attack was made possible thanks to our good old friend Okta, that horrible, great Okta breach fiasco of 2023. 3 service account credentials, and they failed to rotate them. And because it's easy to do an oversight like that when you're a large organization like Cloudflare is. It is very easy for these things to happen. So what did they do in response to all this? Well, apart from hiring CrowdStrike and their own internal teams getting on this and doing all the digging, they rotated 5,000 plus production credentials, physically separated the test and staging environments, triaged nearly 5,000 systems, re-imaged and rebooted every machine in their global network. That includes their sensors, all the Cloudflare CDN nodes that you all see like on a regular basis.
The last point, like all of that's very impressive and very good, but rebooting every machine in your global network, I think, is the most impressive based on my experience with large orgs.
We'll get there. And whenever in doubt, they assumed the worst, made changes to ensure anything the threat actor was able to access would, or potentially access, would no longer be in use, and therefore no longer be valuable to them. So I'm going to go back to the screen here real quick to open it up. So I know you all read this, and you read it the other week too, and you've had a chance to look at it again. Is this not like the best write-up and the best open move, and also like the best response you've ever seen from any organization ever for a breach?
So on your slides, you included the dates, but I want to highlight in the report, Cloudflare included the times.
Yes.
Like, I think that is incredibly impressive. It shows like a very mature like incident response process on their part. And like, it also gives everybody who's reading it a good idea of like just exactly what the timelines were and what kind of response time like an international global network like Cloudflare had.
Yeah,
it's like it's a model almost.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
I mean, for this to come out, it's what, 60-ish days, 65, whatever, like days to have this complete of a report is also impressive. Not only did they do the things that were very proper and logical and thought out, but then to be able to disclose it. Like did they even have to publish this?
Nope.
Like maybe, I'm sure they knew that this is a little bit of a brag reel, but great, because it sets that standard for what other orgs should look to do to be transparent, because that transparency, as we'll talk about with some other breaches, like that transparency is so key in managing the FUD or managing the customer expectations. And like, on one side, like here we go again with Okta, another thing from that fallout. But then we look at Cloudflare, and like I feel pretty good about like.
And before Emily goes, I just want to say too, Glenn, because like I appreciate you talking about the breach. Like, then did they even have to do this right up? they wouldn't have even had like this didn't fall into the material category for the SEC reporting either.
No
So
way,
we wouldn't have even known about this from that either. And that's why this is even more impressive than it might otherwise be, because they're still a public company, and that's incredible that they still did this despite and this is better than any of the stuff I've seen out of the SEC reporting requirements that people have done so far.
Yeah, moving past the thought of like trying to hide and squash and use as few words as possible to talk about these things, and just embracing the fact that this is going to happen. So when it does happen, we need to be fully transparent and proactive so that our customers feel better about the next time. And this is a great example.
Yeah, so I jumped in before Emily had a chance. I'm sorry, Emily.
Oh, no, all good. I don't really have anything novel to say here because I feel like everyone's sort of captured my thoughts as well. Like this is kind of like a gold standard of incident response reporting. Like I can see this being used as a case study in classes in the future. Like here's a really great example of how to do this. And if you're interested in incident response, if you are an incident responder, or that's the field you want to get into, like you need to read this post and you need to think backwards from all the things that are in here, down to the timestamps, down to the time, like all of these details, and think about kind of how you would architect your own program to be able to report these types of things. Because just incredible transparency. This is just really, really well done.
I think the only thing that maybe was missing was time zones for the timestamps.
They were all.
Maybe we're assuming
they're all GMT. They actually said they were all.
Were they? Okay.
I couldn't even believe they actually did that like right towards the end. I'm like, holy cow! They.
Okay. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was
because
amazing.
all good incident response reports in UTC.
So right. That was my assumption, but I guess I missed it.
So the one thing I just want to close with is the statement that they made at the end again. This is what every organization should do, and I know for a fact that every organization doesn't do this. Whenever in doubt, assume the worst and make changes to ensure that the threat actor, anything they could have accessed, that they thought were valuable, was no longer valuable. Like do what it takes, because this is why we're seeing repeat breaches in a lot of organizations right now. So but we are going to move on because we've now said way too many nice things and we have to get to the horrible. So heads up, we are saying nothing about this because it literally happened right before we came on air. FortiSem, multiple remote unauthenticated OS command injections. We will probably talk about this next time around, especially if we have tags for it and scans for it. But Glenn wanted me to get this up. Now, the one thing I don't have a whole lot to say about the AnyDesk thing. I will read the quick summary before I hand it over to Glenn. My only comment about this is, what kind of monster uses dates like this?
Oh, not even
incident response 2-2- what monster does this? This is so wrong. Like, sorry.
Well, I guess if it's February 2nd, no matter which standard,
it doesn't matter.
Make it better, I don't think.
It doesn't
We're completely different people, because what I noticed, the first thing I noticed in this was like, oh, the CrowdStrike call out. That's interesting.
I mean, they're getting lots of business this year, or at least in the past 6 months from organizations. So the only thing I will just point out that source code was stolen and private code signing keys were stolen. But Glenn, this was your ad, so why do you want to talk about this?
It was more so it's like it's equally as good and equally as bad. So like in comparison to the kind of the bragging reel we just had for Cloudflare, there's no, at least the initial article anyway, I haven't looked today, but there wasn't really indication of dates. Like, it talks about like when it was detected, but when it was actioned, like there's like a 5-day span in there, but there's no timestamps. It's also, there's some like fuzzy wording around when did this happen, not necessarily when it was detected. Like, so it's just very unclear as far as if you were an affected organization, what you need to go back and start doing your threat hunting or whatever for. The other thing is, and I don't know how this like spread through for everyone else's experience, but for me, it was started getting signal messages and stuff about like, hey, do you know anything about AnyDesk? Like hearing rumors about this. And then you look on Mastodon and stuff and you start seeing other people talking about like rumors of this and this and this. So like somehow we all knew, but no one knew. And, at that point, the affected organization can't even control the message, right? So it feels like a bad lesson in trying to have too much information before you talk about it publicly. So that, of course, creates a lot of, FUD and uncertainty and anxiety for the affected folks. So not really like a great start from that. But on the other thing is, anytime your statement includes the situation is under control, that just feels like it just. So anyway, kind of an ick on that. What's that, Emily?
If you have to say it explicitly.
Yeah, if you have to say it. So it's just not a great start for this. But it does sound like, at least so far, what we know about what they put out. Like, they talk about how the design of the product and where the keys are supposed to stay and all this stuff. So it sounds like they had perhaps they properly engineered the product to withstand such a breach. However, I feel like it was all foobarred by how we learned about it and the initial information and the lack of transparency.
Dang.
That's my bone.
Mic drop.
It's actually a little worse than that, though, Glenn. And I didn't include the links for this, and I'm not. Go hunt them on your own, folks that are out there. There's a Windows, I guess, fairly popular Windows IT ops and pseudo security blogger out there who has friends in all of these types of Windows-y places, and they were getting backdoor information from internal folks about there's a big problem happening, and it was before the actual notification came out. And then everybody went silent and speculation up. I felt very skeezy reading the blog.
Oh yeah, they had like a week-long outage, right?
Yeah,
and didn't even tell folks about something going on there.
Yeah, so it was bad. But to just reinforce what Glenn said, the fact that their session keys have a bit more security and safety around them designed, I thought that was, and I thought that call out was actually kind of nice, and I thought more folks should actually probably go do that at the same time. But the other thing I will say is they also said they just, even though there's no problem, we just decided to change all the passwords, like make you change all your passwords. So like there's a lot of like color around things that make me think that maybe it's not necessarily as cut and dried.
Yeah, it's probably not the worst, but since it started off the way it did through the rumor mill and the like underground commentary, everyone had to action upon that. Like SOCs were doing hunts in their customers' environments because they didn't know if this was another CISA type event from a few years ago in the summer, right? Or yeah, CISA, right? Yep. So like it caused a lot of work, like a ton of work by folks just because you didn't communicate this thing and you had a week to do it. So,
well, and I guess just to add some context, because I don't think we outright said it, but AnyDesk is a remote desktop management.
Good point.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, awesome, Kimber. Yeah,
like
it's a good thing to have access to if you want full access.
It's inferred from the name too, AnyDesk. Like I can go to AnyDesk, but yeah, if you get a foothold in the remote desktop, it's pretty good.
And how many things were signed in that week that the keys were probably in the hands of bad people, and how many things got distributed and got past things during that week too? It's just, yeah, it's great.
Yay. We'll see some fallout from this one, I think.
Yeah.
I also feel like the compare and contrast of this versus the Cloudflare reporting, like I just want to be real explicit about this. If PR is not a part of your public incident reporting strategy, you are wrong. Like you have to have that under control, and that should be part of your incident response plan and process, is how to engage those folks and how to like talk about it publicly.
There's no PR team that would have approved the message. The situation is under control. Like I'm just going to put that as my email sign off from now on. Like
we'll always be worried about you then, Glenn, because we'll know it's really not.
Oh gosh. All right. We're going to move on because we are getting under time constraints here. So our in the normal section that was before is now our cyber spotlight section. And we're bringing our old pals CISAs into the mix here because if you weren't following the news, there was an first emergency directive of the year targeted squarely at Avanti.
First in almost 2 years, even.
First, that's true, almost. And at Avanti for, I mean, obvious reasons. If you don't know what's happening with Avanti, like you will now anyway. But the gist of it is they had that, but then I think this is the first supplemental direction for the ED. I don't know if that is or not, but this was when I saw this Friday, my jaw literally dropped because I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever just say turn it off. Just turn it off. And that's scary. That's how if that's how bad something was, it's just wow.
Who knew that CISA had a wire cutter directive, basically?
Yeah, like shout out to CISA for being able to just be like, yeah, you know that Avanti stuff, just yeet it, just get it out,
throw it in the trash.
I mean, and so like their professional words for this were as soon as possible and no later than 11:59 p.m. on Friday, February 2nd, 2024, disconnect all instances of Avanti Connect Secure and Avanti Policy Secure solution products from agency networks.
Which was probably what, like a 3-day? I don't know. I feel like it was a 48-hour. Like they didn't have.
It was short.
It was short. And I actually asked a couple of journalist friends how to do a FOIA request because I'm going to FOIA the results of this. I want to know because like they're going to have to tell. And I'm FOIAing this to see how many people met the deadline on this one. Apologies to the sister friends that are watching right now. So part of the, like, if you read the whole directive, though, the updated directive, to fix these things, complete a factory to everybody, all the Avantis and all this is a lot of equipment, folks. Complete a factory reset of all Avantis. Revoke and reissue any connected or exposed certificates, keys, and passwords. If you're running the affected products, you must assume all domain accounts with the affected products have been compromised. I mean, that's this is a downstream impact that's huge and disruptive. And I don't know, like at some point, when do I did, but before, like, there's like two parts I wanted to talk about with this one. I'll talk about the second one in a minute, the other one in a minute. At what point do we actually demand liability? At what point does software manufacturers and hardware manufacturers actually have to have liability for this stuff to get better? Because this is an egregious thing. And by the way, everyone that runs Avanti kit, you should have done these same things. Like if CISA says to do this because of this for the agencies and critical infrastructure, you should have. And if you didn't, you're really flirting with death in terms of IT stuff.
Yeah, I would say, like, of course, this is like purview is the federal agency, federal civilian agency, whatever. But any directive by CISA, to your point, Bob, should be followed by anyone that is affected by it. Just the same as if you were serving up, whatever for the government. And the choice to not do that, then it's like aiding and abetting a fugitive at that point. Like you are now contributing to making the situation worse. And I don't know. I don't understand how Avanti is doing right now, to be honest.
Well, they're private equity, so that's why you don't know.
What's that?
They're private equity, which is why you don't know.
Yeah, I know. I do wonder. I do wonder. It's been a rough go.
I guess their government contract is probably not getting renewed. Sorry.
Unless they tie some kind of hardening to that. I don't know.
Yeah. In this emergency directive, my favorite part is the begin threat hunting in your network part. I'm pretty sure the first definitely emergency directed threatening. Emily.
ED threatening.
Which is just such an interesting concept to me. Like, not only are you being told to just absolutely yeet these devices from your network, just get them out, but also like you should threat hunt in your systems for these IOCs.
Which again is a lot of work.
Yeah,
like it can be. Yeah.
The security, like, I don't know. I call it the security tax, but like the security tax of having this in your environment is so outrageous that, please, like, if you are a customer of any product that causes you like extra work and harm like this, you have to consider that when you come to budget renewals. Like, don't go to leadership and say like, yeah, well, this one's like $50K cheaper. Well, no, it's not. Like, use these things as part of your decision-making process, because not only is it making you and your organization more unsafe, it's also costing you more money. You just don't see it in your budget.
The second topic I wanted to throw in here is so on the screen I have now, it's a list of companies that are in the same Gartner quadrants for this type of remote access solution. I won't go through all the names. I'm not here to like name and shame any organization, but they're up here because it's a lot. There's a lot of folks on this one, and I kept just poking around in this space. And I also happened, like when I was looking for the Gartner Magic Quadrant, this company called Quadrant Knowledge Solutions came up, and like there's some interesting choice of words because it's very Gartner-esque in what it's doing. Although I do believe, Emily, from a data science perspective, you have some verbiage problems with them.
I mean, it's not a quadrant. Like I don't know what.
I mean, it's six quadrants.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, sextant knowledge.
Is it a sextant? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think that's really what we should.
Can we navigate with this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go. Okay, we have confirmation it would be a sextant. I think they just can't use that. There's a lot more. I brought this up to have fun with them, but also because there's a lot more on here. We said this already, but we'll say it again. Like, if you have remote access solutions in place, and every organization has to, it's now part of your attack surface. It was before. If you haven't realized that by now, you really should be doing that. And you need to be doing all the things to this stuff and be ready to do all the things that CISA just told people to do for Avanti. Because, I mean, we're picking on them because it's been a bad couple of months for them. But all these folks are going to have problems and some of them have had problems. And none of them are immune from this, because that's what attackers are really good at what they do. So like you need to have those plans in place, and that's kind of what I wanted to throw up on the, like, there's a lot of attack surface out there with these things, and we've only just barely gotten to some of these things, and I don't even know how to get this half the software for these things. Like, it's hard enough getting some of the images and stuff for what we currently have. And I'd love to see the S-bombs on all. Like, I was talking to our friends over at Vulncheck about this, but I'd love to see the S-bomb reports on all of these to see just how crappy like these Linux, because they're probably all Linux, how crappy the Linux distributions look on here, because that contributes to some of this as well. So it's a bad situation, and it's just going to get worse, and you need to be prepared.
The CISA directive kind of proves like that your plan, like in your red binder that has the printout of your response plans, because you also have a physical copy, right? Your red binder of incident response plans needs to have a section on how to yeet an edge device from your environment within 24 to 48 hours. And that however you do that should apply. You should have plans for especially anything in this 6 square quadrant.
Just like if that's your remote access solution, like how long do you plan on being like out of service with that? Like, how do you replace that? How do you, like, what do you have to find a whole other product to like back it up? Do you tell those people like, sorry, you got to come into the office, or do you just like reinstall? Like, what's the fallout from the technical yeetification of a remote access?
Technical yeetification. Well, isn't this where capitalism comes in, and the market will determine like who's a better product based on?
Feels like it hasn't really
asking
done
for a
great
friend
job of that so far. I mean, kind of look at where we are, but I don't know.
Wow.
I want to hang my hat on something other than that.
Well, we got deep in this one.
we did, and we're going to pull up.
We're spicy today. February is off to a good start.
So just to kind of close this little thing out, coincidentally, purely, I think coincidentally, our Avanti tags lit up yesterday, and F5 did too at the same time. So I've got a screen up, and you can grab the PDF and take a look, or you can just go to the viz.greynoise.io and look at it for yourself. The fact that like there's been a lot of activity in this remote access and kind of like stuff that security people are setting up and not caring about in their environment. So just it's not great, and the attackers are going after it, and it's just going to get worse. And if that wasn't enough of a threat focus for the day, we were going to have a sort of a lighthearted discussion, but until all this other stuff happened, since there's been some news lately about deep fakes, and the one recently that caught my eye that I wanted to throw up for folks to talk about is a CNN article from a couple of days ago. The gist of it is that some dude, where is this again?
Isn't it Hong
Kong?
Hong Kong, yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah. It sounds like it's a global multinational firm. Some dude received a fake email that was purportedly from the company's UK-based CFO. Now he initially suspected it was phishing because it called for a secret transaction to be carried out, which is literally the scenario that's used in all the horrible phishing scenarios that also this person probably went through. And at least it caused a red flag in his head. But moving on from that, he was duped into attending a video call with what he thought were several other members of staff, but all of whom were in fact deepfake recreation. So live video, live audio, probably in a pseudo Zoom-like session with a bunch of other talking heads like you're seeing here. And that caused this individual to put aside early doubts after the video call, as other people in attendance had looked and sounded just like that person recognized.
This is so creepy.
Yeah. Now, what I will say is, like, there have been a number of arrests made in association with this, so I don't think folks got away scot-free. But I mean, this $25 million, like, it worked at least temporarily, and that's with the current gen tech that we have. So we were all like joking about how easy this stuff is to detect or whatever. Now, I said something earlier but pre-show. I don't think I would have fallen for this, but that's just me probably thinking that I can recognize things too well. I'm curious.
We need to try it.
I was just about to say, we're going to do a StormWatch where all of us are deepfakes and you're just not going to know.
Literally was writing down the idea of figuring out how to do this to Bob. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This will make a great movie, though.
Challenge. No, it won't. But challenge.
We can get Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves in it or something.
Oh, okay. If I'm not in it, that's fine then. But seriously,
wow, Bob just assumes he's in movies now. Okay.
Well, yeah.
But, like, thinking about this from a crime perspective, like, if I were going to do crime, I would definitely do a group of people instead of just a single person. Because if I was one-on-one with Bob, I would expect a very different personality than group Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
is that true though? I mean, you've been in I've been in group Zooms. Like, do I tone down in group Zooms?
You don't tone down, but you're more business.
I was like, is this you toned down? Because
wow, I got to work on that because I try not to do that. But all right.
What's kind of funny about this story is obviously like it's at least to my knowledge like the first of its kind where like someone was duped not just because of the AI but because they had a group, they had a video call. Like there's a lot of different layers to this one that's different. But what's kind of funny is like, so when I'm getting like wake up in the morning and getting ready, like I listen to a local sports talk radio just to see what's going on. And they were talking about this story this morning. Like this story is so like, oh no, that it's like just spread into like on a sports talk station. That's wild. So
it's like captured the public imagination because this is the kind of stuff that we were told to be afraid of in the future, right? Like the future is now and it's terrifying and AI is coming for us. But so there's actually a really great comment here about the benefit of cultural and language gaps to cover mistakes if you're a UK native manager with a bunch of
username checks out.
I mean, but really, like, that's a really great point too. I mean, you think about like over video, you think about all of the potential other things that could sort of add up where someone could go, well, no, I mean, maybe one of them was fake, but like, could 5 of them be fake? Like that just seems not reasonable. And maybe it's just me. So I think that's
25 million sounds like a lot, but if you're a global organization, I don't know what this company was, but like I don't know if you're like shipping.
They mentioned company, but if you can just drop 25 mil, you're giant, like you're huge. Yeah,
so like, but thinking of so like, okay, how do we combat this? Well, like maybe no single person has the authority to send $25 million. Like maybe that's not a lot in your business, but it still maybe should require 2 keys.
Actually, I appreciate you saying that because at one of the previous like real orgs I worked for, the controls around that stuff were fantastic, like absolutely fantastic. Pre-cyber, like those, and they were fantastic pre-cyber being a thing in that organization too. So that was like back in the old days. It's a very old company. I was thrilled to see. Wow, you thought of everything. Like that's amazing.
And maybe like we moved to this model, like, you go into a 7-Eleven and you see sign, or even a pharmacy, and it's like the safe is time operated. People cannot open the safe. Like it's going to happen at a certain specified time. A computer does it. Like no one here can do the thing to where we do that with, maybe they do. I literally don't know anything about this like type of thing, but maybe we go to a model of like, any transfer. Like we're a big enough company that like we send millions of dollars every day, no big deal. But any transfer is going to be delayed in some kind of like holding cell for 48 hours or something. That's just the way it is. Sorry about your luck. So like a time-operated safe model of money transfers or something, so that things have a chance to get caught. I don't know, but this one's wild.
Deep fakes are problematic.
They are.
No, yeah, not a fan.
So the article goes on to say at least on 20 occasions, AI deepfakes have been used to trick facial recognition programs as well by imitating people pictured on the identity cards, according to police. And that segues into the identity card thing. So 404 Media, who there are some I love 404 Media. I love what the folks are doing. There's some clickbait stuff. This was half clickbait. But I also recreated what they did, and I'm not going to show the recreation, but I did find the site and I did do it. So go to the 404 link. It is about a site that actually does this whole fake ID thing, and not like physical fake IDs. They create digital fake IDs ostensibly with AI, and they claim to use AI neural networks and generators to produce realistic looking fake IDs for $15. You do have to pay up front more than that to do the thing, but that's a whole other kind of conversation. They did use it to make a very convincing driver's license, and they were able to sign up for various cryptocurrency sites. This tends to be being an attack being used against crypto sites. And I mean, I don't like crimes. Oh, I did want to mention something earlier. Since I know Todd's listening, it was interesting that they did commit a crime over Zoom. It probably was Zoom, Todd. It was like we used to talk about crimes over Zoom. 404 Media used only fake to create and the domain's really easy to figure out, folks. Just like I'm not telling you what it is, but it's really, really easy to figure out. It's not even over an onion network. To create highly convincing California driver's license, the site's owner calls himself John Wick because, of course, does. And he states that I think it's like 20,000 can be made a day, and you can upload Excel stuff to do what. Yeah, it's great. And so this is the site, and this is the actual interface that you use to go do the thing. I did think this thing, it's like the old school days. Like this is like the scrolly banner thing across. So do not use the images illegally scrolls across. It's hilarious.
Bob,
you actually signed up for an account with your
Yeah,
real handle.
Your actual handle.
Yeah.
Wow, just living life. I mean,
Yeah.
I admire it.
Yeah.
I admire it.
Oh yeah. I'm doing it.
Continue.
Thank you. And what I did get a kick out of it is I did click around a lot. I wanted to see exactly what they're up to, and I did. Their Telegram's hilarious, by the way. And they actually have a disclaimer of denial of responsibility disclaimer, a PDF you can download and go. And like you must read this and other legal documents. Like it's bound to it. They basically state these are for TV and movies, playtime. It's not for doing crimes. This is just hilarious.
I'm losing it over denial _of responsibility .pdf.
PDF. Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I'm curious. I didn't see anything in the article about where they sourced all of their images to train on, but they did mention the call out of like, when you get these pictures, it's got the like fuzzy carpet in the background. So that implies that the AI has some kind of giant repository of driver's license images to be trained on.
This is the dude from 404 Media. Like he uploaded his photo.
Right. But the carpet background is AI generated.
Oh yeah, okay. There's a whole bunch of different backgrounds you can generate, and Glenn's going to be interested to see what happened to him, as well too.
Oh no, are you about to be implicated in a crime, Glenn?
A crime? I mean,
wow.
Probably. I'm gonna need to talk to our HR person pretty shortly. BRB.
And our lawyer.
Yeah, and lawyer too. Yeah, on top of it. Yeah, this is insane. And so what I wanted to just close this out with is because like this is the thing now. I'm gonna do another one of these in a couple, not next week, but in a couple one, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have a guest coming on next week that we need to talk about. If I'm not mistaken, we'll talk about it at the end. I think we'll talk about it at the end. But I want to talk about the audio version of deepfakes and why they're going to be even more problematic than what we're talking about now. However, what's on screen is, I don't even need to give you the domain because it's AARP. You can just go there. Yes, you youngins out there, AARP has been doing a phenomenal job educating their community and their members on the problem with deepfakes. A big reason for that is this is one of the target demographics for this stuff. It actually works really, really well on them. And even before all this deep faking thing happened, the scams were a problem. My in-laws have been hit with this. It's not great. It's very devastating. It's very shocking. But they do a great job in education. So if you need to talk to normals about this stuff, this is a great site to go to, because they keep putting great information on there, and they even have a podcast that's not so bad. You can just go there and like take a look at this for yourself. I'm not going to pimp them anymore in here, but this is great. They're awesome, and you don't need to be old to subscribe to them either. It's like $12 a year. Like, so you should. It's great information.
Are you gonna put your referral code in here too while you're at it, Bob?
I could. Would you like?
Is this a paid advertisement?
Would you like me to do that? Because anyway, there are places doing great work, and these folks are doing great work to make the world a better place. So I'm just really happy about that. Tool time. We're gonna cruise to this because I really want to get done in an hour. This is a site, so this isn't a done thing yet. So just take this with watch it if you can. It turns out that all your use of .local and .home and .whatever you're using for your house stuff or your corporate stuff is not actually legit. You're just doing it, and you're lucky it's not causing problems. There has been no official internal domain that you can use. There just isn't. And I think people, if you have seen some stuff in the past, some domains Microsoft has used in various things they put out are also got registered on the internet and can be bad as well too. So that you reusing domains that are out there is a terrible idea. What's the name of the Security and Stability Advisory Committee, SSAC, recommends the reservation of a DNS label that does not and cannot correspond to any current or future delegation from the root zone. You can read the rest of their whole thing. The gist of it is, some safety folks got together, said we should have something out there. .internal looks like it's what it's going to be. No guarantee that's what it's going to be, but I think if you get involved in any of these things, and this is a great way to get involved if you're not involved in ICANN or IETF, this is great onboarding to do some of that. I think it's a great idea. I'm just curious if anyone here thinks it's not a great idea, or if you have concerns that this isn't going to really solve anything. It's just going to have more, just do one more thing and cause one more bit of red tape in ICANN and blah, 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 whatever.
I guess I just didn't realize that it was an issue, because I feel like it's just a name. So you're just using a different word for a word. But I get that, making it a standard and, making it the same for everyone. But I really never thought about it, to be frank.
I like it. I mean, well, as in a reserved private use TLD, I like.
Yeah.
That should be official. Just makes sense. I mean, if you're going to have private IP addresses, private DNS.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Shameless self-promotion. Emily, you have another great blog up. Your team has another great blog up. What you talking about this time?
Hey, yeah. So this was a dive into Jenkins. So at the end of January, there was the CVE, and Jenkins announced an arbitrary file read vulnerability. And so, yeah, there are quite a few of these Jenkins servers on the internet, around 80,000 of them in total. Most of them at the time that we looked at this were potentially vulnerable to this particular type of attack. But the thing that I think is really important to point out about this is that the proof of concept exploits that we looked at and actually tested, they're only able to read arbitrary files. They're not executing arbitrary commands. So I just want to call that point out, because there is nuance there. That's a little bit different. And so, yes, while there are many Jenkins servers on the internet, yes, while this is not a great thing, I think maybe this got a little bit, I don't know. We were trying to kind of cut through some of the noise of the fear around this one, I would say.
But bust the hype machine. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Exactly.
Is this Leroy Jenkins?
Okay, we're moving on. That's it. No, we're going. No, we're going. The folks that try to help people just do things in general, like GreyNoise, that would be our entire comms, education, marketing, community department. They were like, everyone reads a lot of GreyNoise, and we should be telling people what you're reading, because you're all reading some pretty fun stuff. And I just gotta say, Jordan got everyone to tell them what they're reading, and now we're gonna do a regular thing. So props to Jordan for coordinating all this. Props to the whole team for the idea. Check out this new blog post we have out about this. It's gonna be a regular feature that we do. So hey, just dive into there. A lot of great recommendations, and toss some of the ones that you're already you like. Like if our community's got some good stuff, we might read it. We might get it into there. This could be good. Reading is fundamental. And we have an open forum coming up. This is our 6th open forum, if I'm reading the number correct, or is it 5th? The 6th. Yeah, I don't do Roman numerals very well. 6. Thank you, Glenn. And you're gonna hear our founder blather on, because that's what Morris does. You're gonna hear me blather on because that's what I do. It's gonna be great. You should definitely dive into this. It'll be really, really fun. It's only gonna be an hour of your time too, so definitely hit this one up. However, I want to ask Kimber. I saw this just pop up yesterday. This is an announcement about a webinar that you and Glenn are going to be on. Like, what is this all about? Like, look, this is like, whoa, like the universe is opening up or something on here. What's going on?
Isn't this a crazy image? I feel like it really represents Centripetal, and I'm not really sure why, but they are a really just awesome like organization who uses threat intelligence to just like be really fast in their cybersecurity response. I don't know about necessarily like, I guess we've partnered with them a lot.
Yep.
We talk to them a lot. We share a lot of opinions with them. So me and Glenn are gonna talk about intelligence-powered cybersecurity and how you can be really, really fast.
And Jess and Dave are really smart and really fun. So I think this is gonna be a great discussion. When the best thing about this is I get to watch it because it's on the same day, I believe, as I'm gonna get yelled at if I don't say it. So the Valent, I don't know how do you say Valentine's? Valentine's Day. Yeah, so it's at the same day as that, but it's not the same time. So I actually get to watch you guys. I'm looking forward to actually doing that. It's gonna be great.
And I think we're going to space.
You might be going to space. I did have a term for this that I won't use on the show, but I'll tell everybody after the show. Tag roundup. We got lots of tags, 1.5 tags a day. Teams just hitting out of the park again. And there's a lot of them, so I'm not going to go through them all. So you can go to our latest.
I just want to point out one thing. So some of these tags that you're seeing recently, like the top in 2015. I think there was another old, maybe it's not on here, but there's been several like old ones lately, and it's a little misleading because you'll see the tag and then you go to Viz and you look at the tag and you're like, oh, there's no hits in the last 10 days or whatever. Like, what are they doing up there? Well, this is a product of Sift that we keep pimping and talking about, and so these tags are being made because it's being exploited on the internet and we're finding it. And so we're like backfilling a lot of these tags. So it's just wild. So when you see our like 2015 tags here, sometimes it's not because we're bored. It's because it's still a thing.
We have 64 tags that are 2014 or older. So that's how
amazing.
It's amazing that these things, and a bunch of them are like we're doing a whole thing on this. So I'm not going to ruin it, but it's just amazing that these things are still out there and attacked. And Kimber's got some really cool opinions on this too, which I'm not going to talk about now because we don't have time. But anyway, so like we have a lot of tags. So we have a lot of tags. And of all those, as Glenn was mentioning, about 4 of them have had recent activity. I should also point out that some of these Sift tags that we keep saying Sift on are also like this was Sift surfacing them like back more than 30 days ago as well too. So the activity might have just waned away since then. So that's another reason why you're not seeing that. But the backfill can take a little time for some of those. We do need to talk about Kev, and hopefully this is going to work really well. It's been 6 days. No, wait. It's been 6 days since the last Kev release.
It's been
0. Todd.
Chrome.
Todd. Oh, who cares? Chrome's
an evergreen. Yeah, I know.
And so is Apple. Like, it's just why even bother? But anyway. Oh, the timing goes right. Oh, I got it.
Oh no.
I got it. There we go. We have a Kev daily double. And that would be like we had one day when there was a Kev in the morning and a Kev in the afternoon. This is the second time in the history of Kev that this has happened. Second time ever this has happened. It's private. It's pretty cool.
Amazing.
So just watch it back out there. Yeah, well, it is. So this means they actually now this was on purpose today. Thanks for that, Todd. All right. I think we've done it. We've actually managed to get it in under 55 minutes again. I'm gonna stop the share for this thing.
I'm about to get another owl or centipede question or something really weird. I just know it.
No, you're not. So I'm actually closing it out with a question that I literally thought of while making breakfast for my spouse and my son this morning. And that is, and I'm going to start with a close. So Emily, thanks for joining today. And is it hash browns or hashed browns? Is it hashed browns or hashed?
One word. They are currently not past tense. Hashed.
Hashed
so
browns.
Hash browns.
Hashed browns. Okay, so not hash browns.
No, it is hash browns.
Hash brown, but not hashed.
Correct.
Browns. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Kimber, thank you also for making time and getting up early because you get up earlier than all of us. What is it for you?
I'm going with the McDonald's nomenclature on this one. It is hash brown.
Wow. Okay, I didn't really.
That wasn't an option.
It's fine. No. It's like I only had two, but because I'm limited. We have. Hold on. We have our pseudo co-host Todd. Hash browns, hashed potatoes.
Oh.
Okay. All right, Glenn.
Hash browns. No ed.
No ed. Okay.
Hash browns.
Yeah, we actually call them Shaw browns at my house, but that's sorry.
Oh
sorry.
God.
Yeah, that was a really
wow.
Long,
this is a hash joke. Okay.
Really bad hash joke.
Not MD5 browns.
No, not MD5 browns. No, sorry.
Jeez.
Collision browns.
Oh, I like that. That's I like that. I'm gonna start calling them.
Okay, so with that, thanks everyone for joining us today. Check out our new homepage. It's awesome. The team did a great job again. Thanks to everyone for being here, and we'll catch you again on the next StormWatch.
Bye.
See you.